Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. It has been a little while since I have uploaded a YouTube video, and I do apologize for that. I've had a lot of stuff going on. Nothing bad. Everything's fine. I know I kind of ended the last episode with me complaining about being sick, and then I'm gone for a while. Nothing bad has happened. Nothing bad yet. But there's just been a lot of stuff, and unfortunately, the channel had to take a back seat for a little while I sorted through some other things and worked on some other projects and got some of that that free time that we used to have so much of back in the day. For those of you that don't know, I do this channel in the spare time of my spare time, generally after everybody in the house has gone to bed. And I'm still up for a couple of hours. I'll record some episodes of Factorio. That's generally how it works, and I just haven't had that time. And I apologize for that, for those of you that needed it. But it was a much needed break from the channel and the craziness and hecticness of trying to get a video out a day. I don't know if we're going to be going back fully to a video a day. I do want to get there eventually, but just for right now, maybe I'll kind of slowly lead my way into it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I've just been going around trying to figure out just what the heck I was doing in this factory before I left. For those of you that don't know, I have a hard time remembering at the end of an episode what I did at the beginning of an episode sometimes, so it's been a challenge, but the state of the factory is thus. We currently have plenty of power. We got the nuclear reactor online, and that is running. We are producing purple science at a respectable rate. Let's see, 66 at 1 minute, 61.1 at 10 minutes. In an hour, it drops down, but we haven't been producing fully that time, so I'm happy with it. I'm going to call that good. Unfortunately, we don't have any more purple science things to research. We have made ourselves to yellow science, which we do not have, which is next on the list. But there's also some other things that need to be addressed as well. Our refining is okay, but it's not quite up to where it needs to be in order to support what we're wanting to support with this. And these two iron makers over here, I'm just noticing, have been unhooked now since probably the beginning, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but is, you know, something else, something to put on the to-do list. And let's see, what else was I seeing? Oh yeah, the big massive biters down here. That's another little concern. Right now we're good, but we're very close to not being good in a number of places, and expanding this factory out here has not helped in that regard at all. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to work on this episode. I haven't thought that far ahead, but I do know that we don't really need to do anything here. So I'm going to head up to the refining area where just our general everything is, and kind of give a think about what we need to do this time around. So I've been looking around for a nice little project to do, and I have come to this nuclear reactor setup, and it's one that I'm not particularly happy with. I think it was last episode or maybe the episode before where I was given my little pyramid speech talking about cutting corners to finish projects and ending up with pyramids rather than big large cubes, and I think that's exactly kind of what we did here. It's fine, it works, but it could work better, and I'm not happy with it, and I want to go ahead and fix it. Now, the first thing I noticed is that it is not working completely. We're missing some heat pipe there. We're missing some steam pipe there. And this blueprint has been with me for a very long time. It was one of the first power plants I set up whenever nuclear power came out. And I've used it in a number of series, and I have no idea if those flaws were in those series too, and I'm just noticing it now, or if it's something new came in with the way I put the blueprint down. I don't know, but it's fixed now. Those work. And the second thing I want to work on is these reactors just use up fuel willy-nilly. They're not like coal in that they will kind of stop when the production's no longer needed. They just run all the time. They're just making heat. Heat's used to make the steam, and really, they'll just keep going. There's no stopping to it. And I know I said a couple of episodes that I was aware of that, and I wasn't worried about it. But I don't know, just in the interest of being complete, I think we want to just do something about that. There's no sense in being wasteful, especially when it comes to nuclear things. So right now, we currently have 2 Steam systems, networks, I don't know what you call those, 2 Steam things. We have a Steam thing over here for all this Steam, and a Steam thing over here for all this Steam, and they don't interconnect. And I think what I would like to do is interconnect those, and I think the best place to do that is right there. And then the reason I want to do that is because I want to get a tank going right here that is storing up some extra steam. Now, it's steam that makes the power for us. It's not directly these fuel cells. The fuel cells just make the heat. It heat up the water that turns into steam. It's the steam that actually makes things go. So if we have excess steam in here, there's no reason to be making any more until we actually need some for these guys to run. So we basically want to limit these reactors to not run unless we actually need the steam. And there's no real straightforward way to do that. We can't hook these reactors up to the circuit network and have them only pull whenever something happens. We have to be a little bit creative, but we can do that based on these used up uranium fuel cells. And I believe it was Drake that first taught me this trick. And it's one that I really like, one that works really well. So what I want to do is go ahead and hook this tank up to our inserters that are pulling these uranium fuel cells out, the used up ones out. And we only want to pull those out when our steam is less than, oh, I don't know, let's say 5K. And we also want to read the hand contents of this inserter whenever it pulls out. And then we want to hook this inserter up to this inserter and this inserter up to this inserter. And we want that to be on a separate network. And we want to enable these whenever we get that signal that one of those used up uranium fuel cells is getting sent out. So used up greater than 0, we want to go ahead and enable you. And we want to override the stack size to 1 because we only want to put one of those in. And we'll go ahead and copy that over. So basically, when this one pulls out a uranium fuel cell, this one will put one in. And this one's only going to pull out whenever there's less than 5K steam in there. So that'll work it a little bit. And we may have to adjust that number a little bit because it could be one of those things, because these things take a while to warm up. So there's a little bit of lag time in between producing steam and you know, falling below a threshold. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. We'll try it at 5K and we'll just see how that works. But yeah, let's go ahead and pull out these excess guys and let that burn down, and that should show these reactors as being out of fuel here very soon. All right, and on this network, we're only using that to do our fuel cell count, so we can use that to carry the steam signal up here to these inserters, I believe. And yeah, we'll just want to copy this logic to these guys. And then hook those two up and those two up and copy the logic of those right there. Pull out our excess here. And that should be good to go. Okay, these guys are blinking. They are out of fuel. Those are going to wait. Let's just make that one uranium fuel cell. One uranium fuel cell. That's just going to make the count get off. And that's going to put one in there. And they're going to go out of fuel. And they're just going to hang out there until we don't have any excess steam. So just as a test, let's go ahead and pull this guy out. Or actually, we can just unhook that. They do their thing. We outputted the ones, and they just put one in there. That is exactly what we want. Let's hook those guys back up, and that is good to go. All right, I think that works. We still have a couple of these in here. Let's go ahead and put those in there. And that'll be savings right there. And let's see, you've got 170 in there. That's count is uneven. Tell you what, I would like to even that count out a little bit. All right, and let's go ahead and stop that train, because the other thing I don't like about this setup is that this train is just running around and really not doing anything. It's just running around and wasting fuel. Oh yeah, trains. I forgot about trains. Have I done that this series yet? I don't know. I'm rusty. I'm rusty. All right. Luckily we died. We died close to where we need to be. All right. So yeah, as I was saying, we don't want this train just running around and wasting fuel whenever it's really not doing anything. Embarrassing. Okay. Let's see. What were we doing? We were gathering up extra fuel. Oh. Let's see. Let's just put that right there. Some of this stuff in our extra slot here, so we can pull some of this fuel out. All right, that should make that inserter work, and we'll look and see how that evens out. If splitters work the way that I think they do, that should end up with an even amount in all the chests. But I guess we'll just have to look. 13, 13. Oh, that's lucky. 13 and 13. All right, that works for me. Because we've got 4 going out. This is a stack size of 2. Oh, no. I was trying to get crafty there, and it backfired. Did it work, though? Yes, it did. I was trying to copy the logic over, and yeah, I didn't realize that would happen. But we should be good. Should be fine. All right, and what I was trying to do was set a stack size to 4 so that it'll always send out 4. So that should guarantee that that we always get an even amount going out. Since there are 4 reactors. I think that works. It used to. Okay, so, yeah, I was talking about this train moving around all the time, and I don't want it to do that. So I want to set up a little bit of logic here. And I want to say... I want to take that signal... Not hook it to the front. I want to hook it to the back. And I want to say if you are less than, what logic do we have you set at? 40? Well, let's just say if you are less than 40, or less than 12. That seems reasonable. I want you to send out a signal that you need these. And we are going to send that out on a red wire. And send that back into our network that basically has all our other requests on it. So somebody needs copper, somebody needs steel. We did that from our train network earlier. And this will send out that signal whenever that gets below a certain threshold. And as for you, my friend, I would like to add a stop to you to the holding station. And I want you to wait there for inactivity of a second, just to allow for refueling. Although you probably won't need it ever. We'll go ahead and do it anyway. And we want a circuit condition of fuel cells greater than 0. We want that to be an AND. And let's see, we'll do the pickup, then we'll go to the hold station, and then you'll do your drop there whenever it's needed. Does that make sense? Pickup is going to be over there. Hold's going to be right there. Actually, that doesn't make sense with the way the world works. Pickup. Drop there. Yeah, see, that would go pick up, and then you go all the way around, and then go to hold, and then come all the way back around. Pick up, drop off, and then hold, I think is what we want to do. Pick up, drop off, and hold there, and when that's actually needed, you go and get some, and then drop it off. You'll have plenty in your inventory anyway, so that'll be fine. Does that seem reasonable? Provided everything is hooked up fine, I think it'll be just fine. And I don't think that train will move probably for the rest of the series. But that's the whole idea. All right, so let's go back down to our nuclear processing area, because there's another train that's just running around willy-nilly, and we really don't need it to be, because it's going and grabbing uranium ore, which we already have just bananas amounts of right now. So there's no sense in just having it run around. Why are we stopped? Some of this signaling is a little bit silly. Oh, is this all one block? Oh no, train. Stop. This is all one block. That doesn't seem reasonable to me. Not even a little bit. Let's break that up a little bit. And that should be just a tad more efficient, I believe. Oh, no, we were going to nuclear processing. Yeah, this signaling, that's another thing that needs to be addressed. But first, I want to tackle this guy right here. Let's go ahead and call the train. Oh, how convenient. Go ahead and get you set up here. I'll back you where you're somewhat in the space. All right, and you guys, you don't need to be running around doing stuff. Let's see, I guess you're supplying iron as well as the ore. All right, let's take that out. That goes to a chest. We want one of those. Okay, that. Let's fill up like 100 iron in there. That should be more than enough there. Okay, that looks good. And I want to take all of these chests and total them up. And take that with the iron chest. And basically tell this guy right here that he just needs to wait at this station. Yeah, you just need to wait at this station. For a circuit condition of, let's just say, a green signal. Okay, and what is a green signal, you may ask? Let's see. Let's throw a couple of combinators down here. And run the green wires into them. And say if uranium ore is less than 1,000, output a green signal. And if iron is less than 100, no, less than or equal to 0. If we're out of iron in that chest, we'll still have iron on the belt, so we'll have plenty. Output a green signal. And then we want to take that signal out of these out of these combinators and hook it up to this station. And you want to send that to the train, and that should get that train stationary, I think. Because, yeah, all these chests are full right now. Like, completely full. Yeah, I can't even put these 24 ore anywhere. I have to drop them up here somewhere. And we're just eating at this through such a slow rate. We're not really even using it for anything other than nuclear fuel right now. We're just kind of turning it into the 235 for nuclear fuel someday for our trains. But yeah, no, I think that's just going to make this train basically stay here forever. And we'll race to see if we run out of iron or the ore first. My bet's on iron, but I could probably be convinced that we may run out of ore before we run out of iron. Just because we have so much nuclear fuel stocked up. This... I'm okay with that. I think we'll probably come back and correct it later. But for right now, I'm okay with that design right there. Seems reasonable to me. All right, so that all looks a lot better. That makes me happier about our nuclear setup in general. At least we're not going to be burning through fuel just all willy-nilly. How are things looking up here? You guys are all still good. All right, we have not used any fuel. We still have plenty of steam. And more importantly, we have plenty of power still. Fantastic. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your patience as I try to figure this whole YouTube thing out again. As I mentioned before, I don't know if it's going to go back to daily immediately, but we'll definitely make it more than once every 2 weeks. Sound like a deal? All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.